As Catherine just mentioned on our agenda, it indicates Monday, May 23rd. Obviously, there is no Monday, May 23rd, so it's Tuesday, May 23rd. Sorry for that misprint on that. Members present is Catherine Silversmith and myself. Roger Phillips has been excused. Executive session to initiate union negotiations. We've been requested by the union because of illness from their state rep to postpone that. Catherine, yesterday I sent out an email. Do you have any issue with the alternate date that we've talked about?
No, but when we put executive session on the agenda, we should put something that indicates what the executive session is about.
Well, on the agenda I'm looking at, it says union negotiations.
Oh, the one I had.
Catherine. It got added to the agenda after you picked your copy up. And it says executive session to initiate union negotiations.
Well, that's interesting. Let me just check something here.
And that's what was filed with the town clerk.
Oh, the one I have just says executive session. And
Right.
actually,
Right, the correction was made after you picked up your copy, after you were here.
okay.
There is a corrected copy in your box.
All right. All right, it would have been nice to know. Thank you.
So anyway, they are recommending, I haven't heard back from you or Roger, but I'm assuming the 13th will be okay, June 13th.
Yes.
Okay, we will reschedule that. Hear from public. Hear from public. I don't see any. First selectmen's briefing. I really don't have anything to add, and we talked about it at our last meeting. The applications for highway foreman closed yesterday. At last count, I believe we had 4 or 5 in. And we'll get those copied and dispersed to the selectmen, and we'll discuss where we go from there with interviews or whatever. Acceptance of the regular minutes of May 15th.
So moved.
Okay, I'll second that. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Hear from boards, commissions, or committees. I don't see anybody, no boards or commissions. Item 7.
I would like, I can give you an update on the cemetery committee.
Okay,
We began our tours of the cemeteries. We intend to meet again probably this Friday to continue our tours and look and see where there are issues in the various cemeteries.
okay, very good. I did go around. I know Chris got the crew together and on Saturday, and they went around to all of the cemeteries and put in the veterans flags. Thanks, Chris, for doing that. They look nice. And there was a mowing done on Friday. There was one spot, I think, up at Woodward they missed. But overall, I thought it looked pretty good.
So, let's see, we have on here, just let me see, I'll wait till we get down to the mowing contract. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we saw.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thanks.
And we have not signed that contract. His name escapes my memory right now, but the gentleman that's been doing it did agree to do this initial cleanup mowing, which he did Friday, but we haven't taken any action on the contract pending our discussion.
Did we get a copy of the contract?
Yeah, I think I scanned it and sent it to,
I'll have to look
or
again.
asked that that be done. If not, I can send it out again, Catherine.
That would be good. Thank you.
All right, old business, status of the Ashford School Program. I don't have anything new other than our superintendent, Cindy Ford, is working on that. Last time I talked to her, she hadn't had an opportunity to sit down with their counsel, but I know she had posted a couple of questions regarding process and that, so it is on their agenda and they're looking into it.
Is the intent that it would be a town sponsored effort, town sponsored program and the school would run it, or that it would be part of what the school is running?
It's, the intent would be because of potential conflicts with union contracts and that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that's being posed to town council, is
Okay.
that the employees would be employed by the town. And their payroll and that would be managed through our finance office. I've spoken to both the treasurer and our assistant treasurer and bookkeeper, and that they didn't see posed any sort of a problem for them.
Okay.
The actual day-to-day management would be coordinated through the school.
And then keeping track of hours and things like that, that's something that has to be done by the town?
That is in the job descriptions I sent you draft about.
I saw that.
That the head supervisor would be doing that. That person would sign off. We do handle it too. Well, what I foresee, Catherine, is we'd handle it similar to what our other departments do. The person in
Our
charge
part-time,
sign off.
yeah, our
by
part-time workers, yeah.
hours, and then they would come to this office for a
The,
signature.
if I got it correct, and I will go back and look again, but I only have the job descriptions for the assistant supervisor and the helper.
3, right?
No, I had 2, but I'll go back and look.
Check that
You know,
again. If you
maybe
don't have it, I'll send them, because my intention, if I didn't do it, and I thought I had sent all 3, because David had done them under separate cover.
Yeah, I know. And actually what I had to do, because you can't print them, he works on an Apple machine, Macintosh. So I had to copy paste them into Word, which is no big deal. It's just that you can't just print them.
Okay. Would you want me to have them printed out in hard copy and leave them in your file?
No, I prefer electronic, so I
Okay.
have a record.
Okay. So that's where we are with that. Act on the Ashford School Building Committee recommendations regarding the issuance of the RFP, as we talked about. The last meeting was not legal. I understand that the agenda for the meeting that we anticipated having tomorrow did not get posted. I'm going to assume we're not going to have official meeting again tomorrow. I'm sorry for whatever oversights caused that, but so I don't have anything to report on that. And that in hand, item C under our old business, consider funding options relating to initiation of the Ashford School Roof project. Is going to come and follow in after that meeting happens, which has not happened yet. Item D, consider extension of the Ashford Cemetery mowing contract. Catherine, you said you had comments on that?
Yeah, like I said, do we have a copy of that contract?
We have a copy, and I thought it went out to you, but if not, we'll get it
Okay.
back out to you.
So one of the things, and I had observed this before when I used to sit in your seat, Bill. And I had walked some of the cemeteries with our sexton. So what we've seen is in the mowing, that the mower clips, clips cemetery stones. And also when they're weed whacking, they literally are scraping the bottom of the stone. So that's a concern. It was a concern before, and it looks like it's still happening. And in some cases, stones have gotten broken. So I just wanted to make you aware of that if you weren't already.
Yeah, after our last meeting, I did call Jim Ravitsky and let him know that we were contemplating signing a new contract and asking for his input, and he did mention that to me.
He did good. Good.
The only thing he did say also was that he had taken that up, I guess, during Mike's tenure. That he had taken that up with Mr. Kelly, and that he thought those things had been corrected. I wonder what Jim's concerns was, and it's a reasonable request, is that we shouldn't have to go inspect. If they know they hit a tombstone or
Mhm.
damage, they should be notifying us. It shouldn't be the other way around.
Exactly.
And, but I did ask him if he thought this was ongoing, and he thought the issue had been corrected, but Catherine, I have a copy of that in front of me. When we get off here, I'll scan it to both you and
Okay.
Roger. Yeah.
Super, I appreciate that. Is there a time, let's see, the current contract expires June 30th, so we have a little time on this, right?
We have a little time, and I explained that to Jim and you know, what we were considering or contemplating, and that we were gonna discuss it
Is there
further.
anything in the contract that says how any accidents or chipping of stones should be handled?
No, there's not. And it's a one-page item that's been around apparently forever that we've been renewing.
Yeah, I know, figured that.
But what I thought that would be a good idea, and when I scan and send this both to you and Roger, what I thought I'd do would be send it to the town council. I'll let them to take a look. I'm sure they have some boilerplates, contracts they've used for other towns.
Yep.
And ask for their input on it.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay. Anything further on the cemetery situation?
The only other thing on the cemetery situation is, did we ever pursue the people who damaged our headstones? Who came from Utah?
You know, we turned that over to Kerma, and they were in negotiations through Kerma. I did have a follow-up. I believe the state trooper's name, and he was from Mansfield, was Mahoney. He did contact me twice to find out if I had any updates, and I checked, and there were not any updates.
What I heard was that the trooper was not that, he didn't think it was a big deal. I will tell you, and if you haven't seen it, it's pretty ugly what they did. And they actually, in scraping the stones, scraped away some of the letters or pieces of letters and numbers. So I don't know what they thought they were doing, but if you were to go out and take, you know, a picture of the, a person were to go out and take a picture of the graveyard, they would see, it wouldn't be a very good picture. What you'd see are all these scraped areas on it. And like I said, we all inspected them, and literally they scraped away pieces of letters and numbers.
Yeah.
So these are people who didn't know what they were doing, and I cannot imagine coming all the way from Utah and, in a sense, vandalizing our stones. So
yeah. I disagree that the trooper didn't take it seriously, because he has followed up a couple of times with me. I haven't heard from him in maybe 2
maybe
months
Jim
now.
doesn't know that. Maybe Jim doesn't know
But he
that.
did, and you know, I did it, and I explained to him I appreciated him, because normally these things happen and you never hear from the state police again. But
Okay.
I'll try to get a status from Kermit and see what.
Yeah, that
I
would be
guess
good.
what I thought they would do would that they would pay for whatever damage and then subrogate against these people out in Utah, which
Right.
is a typical process. But I haven't heard anything on that. One thing I did, I had asked Jim, probably the beginning of spring, even earlier than that, because we do have money in that fund. I asked him to take a look at the different various cemetery signage that we have on each of the cemeteries.
Yeah.
And if they needed either replacing or update to do that. So in your travels, Catherine, if you could keep an eye on that. I don't know. I haven't heard from Jim, so he may have done that already, but
well, another thing with the certainly a couple of the cemeteries, we need to put lime down on them the right seasons, because the grass is dying or dead, and that in itself makes it really unattractive, and it's not healthy for the soil there either to not have any care.
that we ought to keep that in mind. That may be something that we'll want to put into this contract.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think that they did that. I just thought they did mowing.
Well, we
but-
can ask,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, because it definitely needs more care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Item E is the Ashford Citizen Review Draft of Establishment of the Policy and Procedures relating to production and content of the Ashford Citizen as prepared by Silversmith.
That was just a draft for us to start looking at these.
Yeah. I know Roger's not with us. Catherine, do you want to talk about it, or do we want to put it off till our next Monday meeting? I don't have any problem either way.
Well, the only thing I would like to say is that when we finalize this, first of all, we are going to need them reviewed by town council. We don't want them to be too tight or too loose, but we certainly want to make sure that the town is protected. And
I have
So-
sent the draft off to him. When you submitted
Okay.
it last week, I did forward it to Duncan.
all right, and I did review the citizen that was submitted that we got yesterday afternoon, I guess it was. I looked at it last night. It looks fine.
Yep.
So the one for the next month.
Yeah, I thought she did a fine job.
And it was easy, very easy to review. So that was helpful. As far as the policies and procedures, I'd like to have Roger there if he can be. But I think it's important that we do this pretty quickly.
Well,
Make
we'll
sure
carry
we
it
have
on.
something in place.
We'll carry it on our next meeting, to our next meeting.
Okay.
Basically, I don't have an issue with it. There are a couple of things I wanted to go over. But at the same time, perhaps we can ask Duncan if he's got some, looking at it with some fresh eyes, he may be seeing some things that we're not, but why don't we just carry that? I know I, had some comments about pay structure.
Yeah.
Our schedule, and also some of the it's on page 5 of what you passed out, but other town groups that we don't charge. I had some thoughts on that too, but why don't we
Yeah.
go over it next Monday?
Yeah, I definitely had thoughts on that as well. What I did was I put the ones that we currently don't charge.
Yeah.
And I think I put something in there about the nonprofit status.
Yeah.
Ones. Yeah.
501c3s.
Yeah.
The other thing, I also still like the idea. Now, I understand that we've been informed, I heard this yesterday from Colleen, that the ABA, this is going to be their last month.
Yes.
So we're going to have, that's 2.5 pages right there, but I still like what we've talked about limiting the size of outside organizations to a maximum of a half a page.
Me too.
And but again, those are things we can talk about Monday, but I appreciate your work on this and whatever Sherry did on it. Also, I know her and I had talked about it a number of months ago, and
I had her do a quick review.
I think it's a good step forward. So
Okay, thank you.
little fine tuning, I think, will be fine.
Yep.
All right. Along those lines, Catherine, you would ask that we try to set up an executive session
Yes.
with town council.
Yes.
Duncan is available this morning. He could join us at either 9:30 or 10 o'clock. I don't know.
I'm available.
I don't know if we want to do that or we want to go and do that next Monday also. Of course, I don't know his availability for next Monday night.
I'd go ahead with it now. But, it's I'm happy that we're able to get his attention this quickly.
Okay. I'm going to mute myself if you don't mind and give him a call and tell him to log in on the Zoom meeting. Or ask him.
Yeah, we have new business we're still gonna finish, but yes.
Hold on one second. I'll be right back.
Karen, while Bill's doing that, do you think it would be appropriate for you to sit in on this session or Sherry?
What, I don't know what it's on.
We'll wait and see if Bill is able to get a hold of our attorney first. And that's because, well, we'll wait until he comes back, okay? Thanks for your patience.
Yep.
As I flounder around here a little bit. I only had one cup of coffee. I think I need another.
Okay, thank you for your patience. He's on a call, but he's gonna call us as soon as he gets off.
Bill, do you think it would be a good thing for Sherry or Karen to sit in on this, since this is certainly something that has come up, and he had provided some information, I know, to Sherry before.
Yeah, my thought is, why don't we talk with Duncan, just you and I, to start, and then invite them in once we have that initial conversation.
Okay, okay.
Okay, Karen?
She doesn't know what it's about, so.
Okay. She'll probably have a good idea what it's about. All right, well, let's move on to new business, and then we'll, when Duncan comes in, then we'll go from there. Update on transfer station. I have nothing to report other than the new guard station is on order. I've asked for a more specific date. They have not got back to me, but we've put our down payment check in the mail and everything, and that is in process. Tax refunds, Chris, do we have any tax?
Wait, before you get off of transfer station upgrades, is there anything else that we're doing for improvements at the transfer station?
Well, just refining that turnaround center and widening the front of that.
Okay.
We're waiting. Right now, Joe is expecting, we've been notified by the state that we've got some of their, findings, their grinding material they're doing on one of the interstates.
Yeah,
That's why it's kind of hit a lull right now. We're waiting for that material to come in. And then they're
Okay.
going to do that new area, also fill the potholes and do those upgrades at the same time.
that would be good. Okay.
So other than that, I don't have anything. I have not heard from Terry yet, Terry Wakeman. I believe I mentioned at our last meeting, I did hear from him, and he was out of state down in Virginia. That's why we weren't hearing back. But I did tell him we'd like to expedite a meeting with the committee just to make sure we're all on the same page. So that's in the works.
Okay,
That's about it.
thank you.
Chris, any tax refunds?
No,
Agenda items for upcoming Board of Selectmen meeting? I think we've already talked about everything on that. I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay, so let's see, we're going to add an executive session to the meeting. So I've to I'm trying to think of the subject.
Address potential litigation.
Thank you. So I make a motion to add an executive session to address potential litigation to the agenda.
And I will second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Now, we're a bit of a stalemate here pending Duncan joining us.
That's okay.
Bill, can you just clarify who's going to be in the executive session with you? Will Karen and Sherry be part of that?
No,
Eventually, it's gonna start with Catherine, myself, and town council.
Okay,
And then I don't know if you can keep a heads up or whatever. We'll give you a signal. If council feels it's appropriate that we have Sherry and Karen, and or Karen join us.
yeah. So are you going to go into executive session once Duncan arrives? Or are you going to go now? Or, okay, you're going to wait.
Well, what I thought I'd do was, it seems all of our business is over with. We'll call a slight delay. Duncan didn't seem to, I got a email from him. He said he was on a call. He'd get with us as soon as possible. He did say earlier he'd join us at 9:30 if we needed him. So I think we're only talking a couple of minutes.
yeah, we're just talking about a little pause here.
Okay, so I'm going to, unless you're going to talk about other things, pause the recording now.
That's a good idea.
And then we'll wait for Duncan, and then you guys can go into executive session, and I'll keep this running so that Karen and Sherry can wait on bated breath.
All right, well, I've got 10:57. Can I have a motion?
We don't, is this motion to adjourn, you mean? So we
Yes.
came out of executive session at 10:57. And now I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I will second that. Thank you, folks. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Yep.